Hello, welcome to Kelly's Soroka Life and the home of the Broom and Moon Coven. So happy spring equinox, happy Ostara, and welcome to this new season of spring that we're enjoying here in the Northern Hemisphere. And I know that there is lots of varying temperatures across across wherever we are in this hemisphere, and we're actually having very spring-like weather today, even though we've had very winter-like weather the first part of the week. But it's been great. I can see things blooming and the grass is starting to get greener, and it's just a very beautiful time of year. And I hope that you are enjoying it in spite of what is definitely trying times. Then just coming here, being together, doing these readings together, helping, holding each other and helping each other get through this time and be here to make life beautiful and to make our time here joyous, because we should be happy and we should feel joy, and even when there is grief, and because that is part of life, all of those emotions are part of life and part of this time of finding ourselves in this balance, finding ourselves in this time of, and just this time of light and shadow, of time of very liminal space. And we're going to do a reading today, finding balance at the spring equinox. And today I have the Ostara Tarot, and this is a deck that is Ostara themed, and it was created by, I think, 4 different creators. And so the art, you can tell there's lots of different art in here, but it's very spring-like, and it seems to me something that we need right now, that's very bright and clean and crisp, and also at the same time bringing in our imagination, our intuition, and honoring that space of light and shadow. And we're going to look at those things. There's 4 things in this reading that we'll be looking at today. So we have light and shadow, balance and insight. All right, so and okay, so we have here, and I have the guidebook to this one because there's not a title on this one, and so I'm going to look it up really quick just to see what it is. But I think it is the Wands. Not just one. Oh, Page of Cups. Okay, all right. So I just want to make sure. Okay, so let's get into the reading. So here we have light, and because this is a day of growing light, but we're not at that tipping point yet, and we're not past the point where the light is going to be more than the darkness, but we're at that kind of standstill point, and the night has been growing shorter and shorter, and now we're at that point where the light is going to be growing. We're in this and waning part of the sun and of the day. And so I want to look at the light, and where do I need to seek more light in my life? So where can we seek more light in our lives? And maybe not surprisingly, we have the Justice card. And so the Justice card here, Justice is of course making things balance. Uh, what do we need to do to put things in balance? What do we need to do to make things look more clear? What do we need to be fairer to ourselves and to other people? What do we see around us that is not being fair? And what do we see around us that we maybe need to do something about, that we need to find something that we that we can bring the light to? And we can all do it, no matter how dark the situation seems, no matter how hopeless sometimes life seems, no matter how unfair things seem. We can be that source of light. We can individually, tap into our authentic selves, tap into the goodness in ourselves, and by sharing in this community, sharing it together, sharing it in the coven, we can bring more light into our lives and into our lives as a whole. Sorry, dog barking. So let's look now at the shadow. Where do we need to face the shadow? So, how can we bring the light? Where do we need to face the shadow? And here, we have the page, and I'm going to look at as, yes, the Page of Cups. Where do we need to face the shadow in life? So, where do we need to face the shadow in our lives? And so here, this is the Page of Cups. So we have these new emotions maybe we haven't felt before. We have things that times that we're facing that we're just not prepared for. There's so many things out there that are worrisome, that are scary, that are threatening, we feel like it is a shadow that we can't come out from under. And so, looking at that and tapping into our emotions, tapping into our intuition, that can make it very, very, very. That's where we need to face the shadow. That's where we need to look inward and see where the shadow is, and go back to that light. Being fair, bring things in balance. Being in a place where we can move on, and we can see the light at the end of the tunnel. And it might, it's might not be easy. It might not be something that's going to be easy, but we can do it, and we can, hold on to each other, and we can support each other and guide each other and share our knowledge and our wisdom with each other and move forward with that. And then for the last two, we have our light and our shadow, and now we have balance and insight. So at this time of the spring equinox, where do we want to find balance in our life? Where do we need this? And we have the Queen of Swords here. And again, we have, going back to intuition, going back to feeling, going back to emotion, because the Queen of Cups is about feeling that emotion, feeling that intuition, being open, but yet saying what we need, saying what we need to be said, and finding balance. That's where we want to find that balance between the emotional and the practical, finding the balance between what we feel and how we speak it, because it's sometimes we can be our words cannot really, um, our words can't really reflect what we're feeling in our heart. And sometimes our heart needs to reflect what we're feeling. We need to be more open. We need to be more, speak more and listen. And so we can find that there's just so many dualities here. And the one of the challenges is when to become more open-minded, to become more fair and balanced with the Justice card, is to hold those things together, is to hold those things in our hold those dualities together, and know that there can be more than one truth. There can be more than one way to look at a truth. There can be more than one way to find balance, more than one way to shine our light, more than one way to face our shadows. And so holding those things together and knowing that there is going to be joy, but there is also going to be grief, knowing that there's going to be things that are fun and easy, and then there's going to be things that are difficult, but they're all necessary, and we all need them to find that balance and to really. And this is a wonderful day for that, because we're in that special place, that liminal space of finding the light, finding the balance, finding holding those things, holding the fact that we're in this place where the night is now shifting, and with the day is going to be longer, and it's going to go around again. We're going to have the same cycle again in the fall at the autumn equinox, but we're going to be on the other side. It's going to be where we've enjoyed and gone through the waning phase of the sun, and then it's going to be the waxing phase of the sun again. And so, holding that in our hearts and holding that in our minds, this duality is very eye-opening, and it brings us that justice to ourselves, because we can see it, and we know how to balance the scales. We know how to bring those to what we need to do for each side of it. And then the last card is insight. So this is a message of insight for the new season. And here we have the 10 of Swords. And the 10 of Swords can be tricky. It can be hard. It can be, again, you're feeling that like you're at the light at the end of the tunnel, feeling like you can't go on, feeling like that it's just too much. And there might be a lot of that in the world right now, and a lot of that in our lives right now. But again, we can look at that, we can look and look into our hearts and shine our light, and look into our hearts and be that authentic self, and face that shadow, whatever it might be, and you hold each other up, and guide each other and support each other, and finding that place of balance, and finding that fairness, that place of where things are fair, and where things we feel like that things are ready to move on, and that we can face this shadow. And so the message here for insight is that it does, when things look hard, and when things look like there is just shadow and no light, know that there's always that duality. There's always that place that we can find, this liminal space that we can go to and hold it together, and hold it through this season that we're coming up upon. And so as things grow, and as the light grows here in the northern hemisphere, and as we find more insight in looking at both the light and the shadow, and holding those things in our hand, and finding the balance between what we need to find balance in our lives, then we'll be able to move forward, and we'll be able to face that 10 of Swords, and we'll be able to face it, and we'll be able to know that that it's going to be okay, and that there are people that are supportive, and there are people who have wisdom and guidance, and in places where you can uh, find yourself and find your light and find and help other people guide you through the shadow, just like they've been guided through the shadow, and to find the light and to find that balance and that fairness. So that is our reading for today on this very momentous day. There's lots of things happening. It's the first day of spring. It's the spring equinox. We have this day of light and shadow, this day of balance, and also the start of the Ostara season, where we're going into the season of growth, the season of the sun waning, and we also Mercury is going direct today. And I know that this Mercury retrograde, I know for me it was hard, and other people I think have found this Mercury retrograde very tough as well. So can be here, can find, just take this pause, just take some deep breaths and center yourself on this day of balance and looking towards the future. And how do you want it to look? How do you want the future to look? How do you want to find balance in your own life? And that will be our message going forward into this new season. So thank you for joining me, and I hope that you have a great rest of this day and moving into spring. And we are opening the free community at the Broom and Moon Coven is open. You can come and join, and we have things already, some events scheduled, and you can see the calendar once you join on the school platform and join the Coven that way, and find out and get in on all the fun things that we're doing. And the membership will be opening on April 1st. And so when you're ready to come in and to practice and to really embrace what it means to be a witch, and to practice your craft, and to practice it within a guiding, supporting coven, then that's what we're here for. And I welcome you in, and you'll find the link below to join. And I hope you have a great rest of the day. Bye.